I am Ashley B. Ballas, and today I am going to talk about early Christian and Byzantine art.
Following Christian's crucifixion and continuing until 313 AD, early Christian art was a powerful movement that transformed Roman art and inspired creators to emphasize the spiritual rather than the human. While the new religion of Christianity provided people with the security they were looking for, it forbade the development of representational imagery of the divine. Early Christians found a way around the Old Testament's prohibition of religious images by allowing relief sculptures, paintings, and other medium depicting religious imagery. This flexible interpretation allowed Christians plenty of mediums and Christian themes to work with. The artists of this time came a wide variety of background and previous religious beliefs, making their style and imagery completely new. This resulted a combination of several different styles and draws from many different cultures. Examples of early Christian art can be seen in the Roman catacombs, where non-Christian Romans began burying their dead instead of cremating them. Wealthy Romans decorated their loved ones' final resting place, creating frescoes of early Christian symbols like the Good Shepherd, the dove, the phoenix, and the fish. Early Christian sculptures were detailed, realistic, and proportional, with some figures being enlarged and dwarfed to reflect their status. The compositional style placed smaller figures towards the bottom and larger figures towards the top, as Christianity were severely persecuted in an empire that required the worship of Roman gods. The cross symbol was used as a sign of protection and a way of Christians to identify other Christians. The art was primarily characterized by disguised crosses, like anchors, and the first two letters of Christian interwoven to form a common Roman symbol. Jesus was rarely depicted. Instead, metaphors were used to depict him as a Roman heroes and pagan gods like Apollo. Early Christian art was divided into two periods before and after the Edict of Milan, when Roman Empire Constantine legalized Christian worship in 313 AD. Then Byzantine art began when Constantine commissioned the building of several churches, which featured colorful mosaics depicting scenes that guided the faithful to righteousness. Early Christian churches were designed like previous Roman basilicas with a few innovations to fit their new purpose, often following the five aisles design or having a polygamous central shrine. In the initial years of early Christian art, artists managed to express themselves, inspire their audience, and ensure a strong connection between religion and art was forged for years to come. So now, let's move to the next topic, which is we are going to learn about the art of an age that was renowned for being dark and obscure, but on the other hand, was also bright, colorful, and sharp, the art of the Middle Ages. But before that, we need to know that during the Middle Ages, there were two major artistic movements, the Romanesque and the Gothic. During the Middle Ages which was 5th to the 15th century, Christianity was the religion that dominates much of Europe. The church had a lot of power, and the art was its best tool to convey its messages to those who couldn't read or write, which was the majority of the people. Religion was in painting, in sculpture, and above all, in architecture. The Romanesque. Many churches and monasteries were built both in the cities and in the countryside. The Middle Ages were very long-lasting, 1,000 years, but it wasn't until the 11th century when Romanesque style appeared, which ended in the 12th century. Romanesque is inherited from the Roman semicircular arch, which is the one you can see here. It looks like a semicircle. Remember, from Roman comes the word Romanesque. Since the society of the Middle Ages was hierarchical, the kings, the nobility, and the churches were the only classes that were rich and powerful. The buildings that were erected were castles for the kings and nobility, and churches for church. There were defensive buildings with thick walls and small windows, which means they had very little light inside. They were very dark. Look at these sculptures together with the paintings inside. They depict scenes from the Bible, and if you look closely, you can see they made use of almost space spot possible to make sculptures, the walls, the columns, the frames, the doors, and with them they thought many things about religion after the Romanesque. So here comes the Gothic art, which spanned from the 13th to the 15th centuries. In the Gothic period, buildings were getting taller and taller because they believed in doings so that they were getting close to God. Everything pointed to the sky, even the arches, which are now pointed. Look at the difference between between a Romanesque round arch and a Gothic point arch. During the Gothic period, churches became more stylized. Their walls became thinner and the windows were enlarged and filled with stained glass, just like the beautiful rose window in the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. So now let's talk about the Renaissance. Was a period of European history that occurred from the 14th to the 16th century, primarily in Italy. It marked the rebirth of classical Greek and Roman arts and philosophy, which were branded as a time of war, cultural decline, and pandemics like the Black Death. Humanism was the heart of the Renaissance, a philosophy inspired by classical Greek and Roman texts celebrating human creativity, individual achievement, and the idea that man was the center of his own universe. This new mindset contrasted with medieval philosophy, which focused on the divine and following the rules set forth by the Catholic Church. The Renaissance began in Florence, Italy, which became wealthy due to the trade with the Ottoman Empire. Theories for its origin include the reintroduction of classical texts to Italy through immigration of scholars after the fall of Constantinople, and returning crusaders who had encountered advanced Muslim civilization. The Medici family of Florence supported the movement, and it later expanded to other Italian city-states such as Venice, Milan, Rome, and throughout Western and Northern Europe. The Renaissance also saw the furthering of the arts, with artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and Michelangelo, showcasing atomically accurate human bodies, dramatic and emotional composition, naturalistic depiction of space, and intellectually sophisticated subject matter. The fall of feudalism and the rise of capitalist market economy led the development of middle class and rise of humanism. However, the Renaissance movement eventually died out due to the factors such as invasions by neighboring powers, Catholic Church censorship, and the establishment of Inquisition. The legacy of humanism and individualism from the Renaissance has strongly influenced the Europe-American world ever since. Now, let's talk about the late Renaissance period or the Mannerism. The Mannerism style, which emerged in 1530 and lasted until 1540, was a stylized, exaggerated approach to painting and sculptures. Mannerism artists were interested in the perfectionism portrayed by high Renaissance artists, but did not seek to replicate it. Instead, they exaggerate Renaissance principles, favoring self-expressionism over idealism. Mannerism artists created highly artificial composition, showcasing their techniques and skills in manipulating compositional elements to create sophisticated elegance. Mannerism artists or Manneria artists rejected a realistic proposition and instead rendered figures with impossibly elongated limbs and oddly positioned bodies. This also pushed Renaissance sensibilities to their limits, using elaborate decoration and artificial color. Giuseppe Arcimboldo took this concept to new heights, creating peculiar portraits of people made of vegetation, animals, and found objects. The earliest experimental phase of Mannerism, known for its anti-classical forms, lasted until about 1540 or 1550. Subsequent Mannerism during High Mannerism stressed intellectual conceits and artistic virtuosity, leading later critics to accuse them of working in an unnatural and affected manner. Famous artists in the late Renaissance period including Tiziano Vecellio, Benvenuto Cellini, Baldassare Peruzzi, and Giorgio Vasari. Their works were known for their deft use of colors, appealing renderings of the human form, and their influence on art, history, and writing.
So let's tackle about social realism. So social realism is an art movement that emerged primarily during the 1920s and 1930s, characterized by its focus on social political reality, particularly the working class, or critiquing the ruling classes. So one example of social realism is an art in the painting of Negron's Mother by Dorothea Lange. So this iconic photograph taken in 1986 during the Great Depression depicts a destitute mother with her children, embodying the struggle faced by many families during the challenging period. So this image captured the harsh realities of poverty, resilience, and the human impact of the economic hardship, making it a powerful representation of social realism and photography. So the migrant mother is not a painting but actually is a photograph. So the material used in creating the iconic image of the migrant mother are primarily photographic materials, such as film, vehicle for printing, and chemicals for developing the photograph. So let's move on. So abstract expressionism. So abstract expressionism is an art movement that emerged in the 1990s and 1950s in the United States, characterized by rejection of traditional artistic standards and a focus on spontaneity and improvisation. So an example of abstract expressionism is Jackson Pollock, famous painting number 1A1948. So the message conveyed through the painting is a profound exploration of the artist's inner psyche and emotional state. So this painting is created using oil based house paint on canvas. So pop art. Pop art is a visual movement that emerged in the United Kingdom and United States during the mid-to-late 1950s. Presented a challenge to traditions of fine art by incorporating imagery from popular culture, such as advertising, comic books, and mass-produced objects. So, one of the iconic examples of pop art is the Andy Warhol Campbell's series. So, this painting is created in 1962. So, this series of paintings features 32 canvases, each depicting a different flavor of Campbell soup. So, the message of this painting is a series of a critic of consumer cultures and the commodification of art. So, Cubism. Cubism is an influential visual art style of the 20th century that was created primarily by artists Pablo Picasso and Serge Gauguin in Paris between 1907 and 1950. So, one famous example of Cubism is Picasso painting, which is the Les Quinceles Carillon from 1907 by Pablo Picasso. So, the message of this painting is the challenges conventional notions of beauty and traditional artistic representation. Also, reflects Picasso's fascinations with African art and primitivism, also sexuality and power dynamics like agency, sexuality and power also embodies that advanced period of innovation and experimentation.
And ma'am, this is my assigned topic, the Baroque art. So I'm going to discuss this one. So here are the expected learning outcome of my assigned topic, the Baroque art. First, the history of Baroque art from where it started, when it started, or how it started. And second is to understand the importance of Baroque art. And last but not the least is to determine the prominent artists of Baroque art and their medium. So art of Baroque period was started on the past 1600s to 1800s. The term Baroque was derived from the Portuguese word Barroco, which means irregularly shaped pearl or stone. So Baroque art developed in Europe around the 1600s. Baroque art aims to give an effect that want to carry the viewers with the force of its impact. The Baroque style was carried by the Spanish and Portuguese to the Philippines. It influences the Intramuros, or the pre-colonial walled city of Manila, or one of the first old district of Manila, built by the Spaniards in around 1571. In the 16th to 17th century, the Baroque considered the art of Catholic Church and Counter-Reformation or Catholic Revival. The popularity of Baroque style was encouraged by the Catholic, which had decided The Council of Trent. So Council of Trent, it is a Catholic Church most important clinical meeting where that the arch should communicate religious times and direct emotional involvement in response to the Protestant Reformation. So here are the Baroque style. It characterized exaggerated motion. It is the style that used to give clear detail to produce drama. Exuberance, it is a style used to give life and emotion of an artwork. Grandeur in sculpture, it is the style used in sculpture. It was detailed, the size is even, and same figure. Painting, architecture, dance, and music. So those are the example of Baroque style. So in painting, Baroque style, they use chiaroscuro technique. The chiaroscuro technique painting is simply its scenes to produce a very high contrast, dramatic atmosphere. This art technique popular during Renaissance period, referring to the use of exaggerating light contrast in order to create an illusion. Let's proceed to the importance of Baroque art. So this is a highly ornate and elaborate style of architecture, art and design that flourished in Europe in 17th and the first half of the 18th century. The defining characteristic of the Baroque style was the way in which the visual painting, sculpture, and architecture were brought together into a complete whole to convey a single message or a meaning. So Baroque art and design addressed the viewer's senses directly, appealing to the emotions and as well as the intellect. It reflected the hierarchical and patriarchal society of the time, developing through and being used by those in power empower the church, absolute ruler, and aristocracy to persuade as well as impress, to both reach meaningful compared to the control and carefully balanced promotion associated with the Renaissance. So Baroque is known for its movement and drama. Baroque influences extended from Italy and France to the rest of Europe, and then traveled via European colonial initiatives, trade and missionary to Africa, Asia, and South and Central America. Its global spread saw Chinese scarves working in Indonesia, French silversmith, and Italian hardstone specialists in France. The sculpture was sent from the Philippines to Mexico and Spain. Whilst London made chairs went all over Europe and across the Atlantic, and French Royal Workshop turned out luxury products that were both desired and imitated by fashionable society across Europe. However, a style, Baroque, also changed as it across the world, being adapted to new need and local taste, materials, and context. Moving on to the prominent artists and their medium. Hammerghini da Caravaggio, 1517 to 1610. Michelangelo Merisi, or Hammerghini da Caravaggio, where he was better known as Caravaggio. He was an Italian artist who wanted to deviate from the classical master of the Renaissance. So Caravaggio model at this period were either himself or young person who have air of being promising but wicked. So when I say young person who have air of being promising but wicked, it is a good person who has good future but have bad doings. So one of the famous painting is the Conversion of Saint Paul. Next is Gian Lorenzo Bernini, 1598 to 1680. Bernini was an Italian artist and the first Baroque artist. He practiced architecture, sculpture, painting, stage design, and was also a playwright. So he was the greatest Baroque sculptor and architect as sees in his design of Piazza San Pietro on front of the Basilica. It is one of his most innovative and successful architecture design. So one of the famous Baroque artwork is the Ecstasy of Saint Teresa, was his greatest achievement. Other is Peter Paul Rubens in 1577 to 1640. So Rubens is a Flemish Baroque painter. He was well known for his painting of mythical and figurative enhanced scene. One of his famous Baroque artwork is The Rape of Daughter Eusebius. Okay, moving on to the Rococo art. So, what is Rococo? Rococo is a style of art developed in France in the early 1800s. The name Rococo comes from the word rocaille, a French word meaning shell or pebble work. So Baroque art was all about serious and realistic theme, some young elements. Yeah. Rococo painting was opposite, the joyful theme of love and nature. So, the rocaille. The rocaille was used in the decoration cartouches with a symmetrical and detailed card was another feature of Rococo decorations. For one of the finest example of Rococo architecture is located in Würzburg, Bavaria. It was designed by the German architect Johann Balthasar Neumann in 1720. So some of the biggest European power of the 18th century did adopt the Rococo style for their royal residence like Scanburn Palace and Cozy Palace. Catherine Palace. So here are some artists of Rococo. Jean-Antoine Watteau. So Watteau can be considered as the father of Rococo style painting. He inspired many other painters with his Fit Galante genre work. So Fit Galante genre work. This kind of genre characterized by its lightness, elegance, and playful theme. So Jean-Francois Detroit was a director of the French Academy in Rome from 1738. He lived with a luxurious lifestyle himself and his clients were the bourgeois class. Say bourgeois, it is the middle class family. And he invented the table d'ox de mode or the painting of fashion. Other is Jean Honor Fragonard. His painting The Swing is one of the most famous work of the Rococo era. Because of French Revolution, Fragonard lost his private patrons. So other is Francisco Gardi, Italian painter, was one of the last practitioners of the Venetian school. He was born in the noble family of Venice. He worked in the Spanish royal court under King Carlos III. And he also worked as an illustrator for the famous Miguel Cervantes. So as you can see, the artist of this era, the Rococo art is live with luxurious life. So that's why Rococo is one of the most expensive style in history. So moving on to the Rococo architecture, it gained popularity in France and later spread to Bavaria, Poland, Russia, and other countries. Rococo buildings were usually small in size, and in terms of color, they use pastel tones for Rococo building. So, although it is small in size, but they did not have hanging the design. Moving to its interior design. So in terms of interior, it was not only about fancy look, but also about comfort of bourgeois or a middle class family too. So they made the furniture was So they made the furniture to be truly comfortable. Porcelain, tableware, candelabra, clocks, and other items were used as kind of final touch to the interior design. So moving on to the next topic, the Romanticism. So when we hear the word Romanticism, so maybe the first thing that comes out to our mind is about love, relationship, or many more involving love. So we'll hear in Romanticism in art, it's not all about love, but a reaction to enlightenment, industrial revolution, progress, and urbanization, or in simple term, it was the reaction to the creation. So to understand more, let's discuss what Romanticism really is. So Romanticism is an artistic movement in Europe and the US in the 1800s that prized feeling over intellectual thought. So when we say prize feeling over intellectual thought, in Tagalog, mas pinahahalagan yung damdamin kaysa pag-iisip. So as I mentioned earlier, the Romanticism is a reaction to enlightenment, progress, and urbanization. So Romanticism also, it is how we deal with or describe idealized or unrealistic fashion, or to make something seem better or more appealing than it really is. So the Age of Enlightenment, an artistic movement in Europe and the US in the late 1700s that prized science, reason, and classical tradition. So let's look quickly the value of Romanticism. So first of all, the Romanticism value of nature, or romantic with the romantic year, or the romantic year, we rather look at the waterfall than a dirty and polluted city. So that is one of the example of Romanticism. Another is childhood, an age of innocence. So today we think about children needing to enjoy being children. We think that kids should be kids. The romantic movement here is that before we people thought of children as just a little adult that should grow as much as possible. But the romantic view here is that childhood is an age of innocence that they need to enjoy before they encounter problems of adult. So here's the enlightenment. So for example here, this is the comparative of enlightenment and romanticism. So in enlightenment, it's all about intellect, but in romanticism, it's not about intellect but emotion. So enlightenment emphasizes human nature, or man is trying to understand nature, or man over nature. But here in romanticism, nature over man. Then other is enlightenment is forward looking, but the romanticism is backward looking. Society, instead of society, we have individualism. So industry, instead of industry, we have nature. So that's how romanticism work. So I have a picture here, and I want to know how would you romanticize, or should I say, where is the romantic view in this picture? So first is the Nightmare by Henry Fazeli. So as we can see at the painting, it is a very creepy, but if we focus on the painting, the romantic movement there is that it is although it is creepy, when we focus on the painting, the romantic movement there is there is a supernatural, there is an emotion, and although there is a beauty. So another painting is The Wonder Above the Sea of Fog by Caspar David Friedrich. So as we can see in the painting, the romantic there is, he is a Byronic hero. So when we say Byronic hero, it is a kind of or type of hero that's striving to do right, and other is beauty. So we can see the beauty of nature, and other is sublime. So when we say sublime, it is, kung sa Tagalog pa, grabe ka, ay kung sa Tagalog pa kay napakaganda. So that's it.
Good morning, everyone. So next we will going to tackle about realism, impressionism, symbolism, and Art Nouveau. So first we will going to discuss the realism. So realism was a stylistic and social movement that began in France in the middle of 19th century. So it is so understandable here that ang realism kono is nag-start siya sa France in the middle of 19th century. So the realism movement rejected the artistic approach of the Romantic period that had preceded it, which glorified nature and heroic figures. So the question here now is why realism movement rejected the Romantic period. So it is because realism movement wanted to write about ordinary characters about life, not romantic heroes in exotic settings. So they also tried to avoid emotional language by using precise description. In simple word, realism is a way of portraying or thinking about the reality. So the word realism is used in many liberal arts in many ways, such as music, painting, and philosophy. So, ang kuanda ko na is ang realism, yung gireject ang Romantic period because there is a realism is kanang ang gina-paint nila is mga art is all about kanang nahitabo sa ilang life bitaw like sa mga biblical mo na ilang mga heroic nga mga kuan mo na ilang kuan diri sa realism art. So we have 5 characters of realism in art. So first is immediate and verifiable. Number 2 is seeks the realistic truth. 3 is belief life lacks symmetry and flat. Next is regular everyday people. So kana dyan nangitabo sa lives sa tao, dili lang binataka-taka but kanang nahitabo gid siya. The next is strive to be objective. So next, let's move to Impressionism. So Impressionism is a 19th century avant-garde art movement that originated in France as a reaction against the established art of the French Academy and the government-sponsored annual exhibitions. So this Impressionism was to capture the momentary sensory effect of a scene rather than its accuracy. This type of painting was revolutionary for the time as it focused on depicting the feelings of a moment rather than its reality. So from the word impressionism, so this impressionism art, so nagagama sila art based sa natagbo sa ilang life everyday. Say, for example, kang nagbubulak, so muna ilang i-paint, nagtagbo silang mga everyday life, muna siya ang Impressionism art. So muna ang gina-paint nila. So next, we will going to tackle about symbolism. So symbolism initially developed as French literary movement in the 1880s. So gaining popular credence with a popular publication in 1886. So of Jean Morias Manifesto in Le Figaro, reacting against the rationalism and materialism that had come to dominate Western European culture. Morias proclaimed the validity of pure subjectivity and it's the expression of an idea over a realistic description of the natural world. So, natural world. Symbolism art shifted the emphasis from the subject representation of nature to the world of the imagination instead of describing something with precise, realistic detail or stating the fact. They used personal metaphors and symbols evoking a meaning or feelings instead. So, this is symbolism ko. So, mo man yung more ginagamit sa mga artist karon ng symbolism, like mag-draw sila og kanang mga mag-draw sila kanang art nga nagkuanay kanang nga meaning, lalong nga meaning. So ikaw maghatag ana ang meaning, ikaw mag-describe ana nga art ug unsa imong kanang mas imong pagsabot ana nga art. So mo na siya ang symbolism. So last is the Art Nouveau. So it is pronounced by Nouveau. So Art Nouveau, ornamental style of art that flourished between about 1890 and 1910 throughout Europe and the United States. So Art Nouveau is characterized by its use of a long, sinuous, organic line and was employed most often in architective, interior design, jewelry, and glass design, posters, and illustration. So, ang Art Nouveau is an art nga ilang ginagamit is kanang nasa nature, like makita to, like mga dahon, muna ilang ginagamit pag paint, mga dahon, mga flowers, mga leaves, and anything. Mga makita sa nature, muna siya ang Art Nouveau. So, that's all, and thank you.
1919 to 1933. The Bauhaus was founded in 1919 in the city of Weimar by German architect Walter Gropius, 1883 to 1969. Its core object was a radically concept to remain the material world to reflect the unity of the artist. So ang Bauhaus daw kay nakita na siya sa city of Weimar by German architect Walter Gropius atong 1883 padulong 1969. Gropius explained these visions for a union of art and designs in the Proclamations of the Bauhaus 1919, which describe a utopian craft field combining architecture, sculpture, and painting into a single creative expression. Gropius developed a craft-based curriculum that would turn out artisan, and designer capable of creating useful and beautiful objects appropriate to new system living. So after 1933, the Bauhaus was forced to close down in 1933 due to pressure from the Nazis. However, its idea continued to spread all over the world along with the immigrating Bauhaus members to the US, Switzerland, Russia, Israel, and many other countries. OP or optical art. OP art is a short of optical art. It is a style of visual art that uses optical illusion. OP artwork are abstract with many better-known pieces created in black and white. Typically, they give the viewer the impressions of movement, hidden image, flashing, and vibrating patterns, and swirling or wrapping. The example of OPR or optical art is the Victor Vasari paint zebra, like black and white lang siya nga marang drawing nga. Di na siya meaning. Ang uban kay magamit silang ingani nga naa siya picture. If i-move nimo siya, na kay makita nga picture. So, like sa makita nimo sa Facebook nga kuan murag memes bitaw na siya ikuan na siya i-caption nga ilihok nimo siya para na kay makita nga picture. So, mao na ang example sa Realism is a genre of art that compasses painting, drawing, and other graphic media in which an artist study a photography and then attempts to reproduce the image as realistic as possible in another medium. Also, the term could be used broadly to describe the artwork in many different media. It also used to refer specifically to a group of painting and painters of the American art movements that began in the late 19th 1960s and early 1970s. So, ang example sa photorealism kay kita man tanan makakita tag drawing nga kuan mura siya tinuod like or painting kanang gipaint niya iyang kaugalingon din makita nimo siya nga murag tinuod pero painting ra din na siya then like sa mga drawing pod pwede pod may example ang drawing niya like mag-drawing ka og picture or anything nga ma-drawing nimo nga murag tinuod bitaw so masyag kuan realistic iyang pag-drawing or pag-paint mo na ang example sa photorealism.
So, conceptual arts is also referred to as conceptualism. Is art in which the concept or idea involved in the work are prioritized equally to our more than traditional aesthetic, technical, and material concerns. Some works of the conceptual arts may be constructed by anyone simply by following a set of instructions. Ang conceptual arts na tinutukoy din bilang konseptualismo ay sining kung saan ang konsepto or ideyang kasangkot sa akda ay binibigyang prioridad ng pantay-pantay sa o higit pa sa tradisyonal na aesthetic, technical at material na alalahanin. Ang ilang mga gawa ng konseptong sining ay maaaring gawin ng sino man sa pamamagitan lamang ng pagsunod sa isang hanay na mga nakasulat sa tagubilin. These are the example of conceptual art. Then, installation art is an aesthetic genre of three-dimensional works that are often site-specific and designed to transform the perception of the space. Ang installation art ay isang artistikong genre ng mga tatlong dimensional na gawa na kadalasang particular sa site at itinisenyo upang baguhin ang pananaw ng isang espasyo. Sa pangkahalatan, ang termino na ay nilipas sa panloob na espasyo, samantalang ang mga panlabas na intervention ay kadalasang tinatawag na pampublikong sining ng lupa o intervention. Sa sining, ang mga hangganan sa pagitan ng mga terminong ito ay nakapatong. Installation art. Art appropriation is the use of pre-existing object or image with a little or no transformation applied to them. The use of appropriation has played a significant role in the history. Sa sining, ang art appreciation ay paggamit ng mga dati ng mga bagay o larawan na may kaunti o nalang na pagbabagong inilipat sa kanila. Malaki ang mga naging papel ng paggamit ng appropriation sa kasaysayan. Sa visual na sining, ang ibig sabihin ng angkop ay ang wastong pag-ampon, panghiram o pag-recycle o pagsampol ng mga aspeto ng kulturang pansin sa mga bagay na ito. Example of appropriation art.
So, good day everyone. My name is Dorcia Masorum. So, I will discuss the 4 types of our report. So, number 1 is futurism. Number 2 is suprematism. Number 3, constructivism. And number 4 is deistism. So, number 1 is futurism. So, futurism was invented and predominantly based in Italy, led by the charismatic poet Marini. So, when you say futurism, gikan ni siya sa Italy and 20th century. So, sa focus aning kuan futurism is about siya sa technology like kanang car unsa kapaspas ang pagka drive sa car like unsay speed ani niya. Okay, number 2 is suprematism. Is an early 20th century art movement focused on the fundamentals of geometry painted in a limited range of colors. So, sa kuan, suprematism is gikan ni siya sa Russia in 1915. So, when we say suprematism is kuan ni siya like geometric, like katong last nga di-discuss ni ma'am about sa mga vertical and horizontal. So like katong di-discuss ni ma'am bitaw katong sa muang mga Muslim katong yellow unsay meaning ato niya, like katong di-discuss ni ma'am nga yellow is about sa loyalty ana. Like, example ni siya sa suprematism. So number 3 is constructivism. So, constructivism is the theory that says learners construct knowledge rather than just passively take in information. So, constructivism is gikan ni siya sa Russia in 1913 to 1920. So, sa kuan, constructivism is ginafocus sila sa kanang mga ang new generations, like sa una kay example kanang sa una kay kanang bitang gigamit nato sa paggama og balay kanang kahoy pa sa una, or kanang mga dahon bitaw nga katong sa niyog kanailang bubong. Then so karon na new generation naman ta karon, so gagamit na tag kuan kanang na-discover na tong mga new materials like mga semento, kanang mga salamin sa balay bitaw ng mga aesthetic. So na-discover ni siya sa constructivism. So number 4 is deistism. So incorporating the ideas of new plasticism was a Dutch art movement founded in 1917 in Leiden, consisting of artists and architects. So sa deistism is gikan ni siya sa Netherlands. So in 1917. So gina-focus sa deistism is kuan kanang paggamit bitaw sa kanang mga like designs. Gamit pud silang kanang mga shapes. So sa deistism is gagamit silang mga color o kanang mga shapes, like example kanang mga red, yellow, ana kana siya kay part ni siya sa deistism. So that's all. Thank you.
So I am Jory Maricilas Ponya, and this is my report. First is the Expressionism. Expressionism, artistic style in which the artist seeks to depict not objective reality but rather the subject, emotions, and responses that object and events arose within a person. And the artist accomplished this aim through distortion, exaggeration, primitivism, and fantasy, and through the vivid and violent or dynamic application of formal elements. And this is the example picture of the Expressionism. Next is the Fauvism. Fauvism was one of the first avant-garde movement at the turn of the 20th century. Artists used color unabashedly, without care, incredibly imaginative, leading to their name. Le Fauvisme is French for wild beast, and this is the example of wild beast Fauvism. Next is the Dadaism. Dadaism, infamously called the anti-art movement. Dadaism developed out of disgust and resentment from the bloodshed and horror of World War I, which began in 1914 and ended in 1918. Dadaism's main purpose was to challenge the social norms of society and purposefully make art that would shock, confuse, or outrage people. It thrived on counter-attacking everything that was conventional in society.
And also Dadaism considered themselves the rebels of the art world and inspired later major movements such as surrealism and even punk rock. Although Dadaism originally started as a protest of the First World War, it soon grew into a cultural phenomenon permeating attitude to be taboo and offensive of childish. And this is the example of the Dadaism art. So last is surrealism. Surrealism aims to revolutionize human experience. It balances a rational vision of life with one that asserts the power of the unconscious and dreams. And also, surrealism allows artists to express their creativity more easily. And this is the picture of surrealism.